Tonight on CTV News, World Cup price tag.
We were sold a false bill of goods, not by FIFA, but by our politicians.
More than $1 billion. That's what taxpayers will be shelling out to host the tournament. Why the final bill is still a mystery. Will the economic benefits outweigh the cost?
We don't want to hear what people are against. We want to hear what they're for.
After Ottawa and Alberta's pipeline deal, what did the Prime Minister and the Premier agree on?
They're having a real detrimental effect on neighbors and also on our tree canopy.
Growing debate over multiplexes in Vancouver. Will council clamp down after pushback from residents?
This is CTV News with Mi Jung Lee.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin with a high-stakes meeting between the Prime Minister and Premier David Eby. The Premier made it clear he wasn't happy with the deal Ottawa and Alberta signed on a potential pipeline. The opposition is urging the NDP to get on board or risk Ottawa looking outside BC for major projects. CTV Legislative Bureau Chief Rob Buffum has the story.
Minister, Indigenous groups say they don't want a pipeline.
Arriving for his meeting in Vancouver with Premier Eby, Prime Minister Carney walked past protesters opposed to BC's energy projects. Moments later, a sunny, all-smiles greeting between the two leaders.
The Prime Minister is a friend to British Columbia.
The outward tone a contrast to the past few days when Eby criticized Carney's plans with Alberta to advance a bitumen pipeline to BC's coast, accusing the PM of rewarding Premier Danielle Smith for separatism threats. Wednesday, Eby announced the discussion was the start of negotiations, and he planned to focus on Ottawa helping his province.
It's a fair share for British Columbia of federal investment that the Prime Minister is committed to for this country, and a fair share of federal enthusiasm for the projects that we're bringing forward.
Carney noted a third of projects labeled by his government as in the national interest were from BC, and the two men were on the same page. An hour earlier, however, he told the Vancouver Board of Trade that he's looking for partners, not pushback.
We don't want to hear what people are against. We want to hear what they're for. And if you're for something, we will get behind you.
Former BC Premier Christy Clark says both Carney and Eby have reasons to cooperate, noting Eby's need to rev up BC's economy in the face of a record deficit.
You can't have a pipeline unless the Premier of British Columbia agrees to play ball. And so David Eby's got a lot of leverage. He's also got a lot of reasons to give the Prime Minister what he wants. It remains to be seen how that will be resolved.
The opposition say it worries the Premier may drag his feet, causing Carney to look elsewhere for future nation-building projects.
The Prime Minister made it very clear that if the Premier was going to continue to be obstructionist, that they would be having conversations outside of BC in terms of economic development.
After the meeting back in Victoria, Eby didn't have much to say.
How was the meeting, Premier? How did it go?
Great meeting, good discussion. Yeah, absolutely.
A meeting he hopes leads to more photo ops involving actual announcements of federal funding.
And Rob joins us live from Victoria. Rob, what did the two leaders have to say today specifically about that proposed pipeline to BC's coast?
Well, Mi Jung at the Vancouver Board of Trade, Prime Minister Carney basically set out three prerequisites. One is that there be a carbon capture project that's built. He said BC also has to see significant economic benefits, and he said that there had to be a significant consultation with First Nations. On the flip side, Premier Eby today reiterated his opposition to seeing that oil tanker ban lifted, meaning, again, it's more likely if this pipeline goes ahead that it will be along a southern route, perhaps tracing the TMX existing pipeline. And it's also worth noting that at the Greater Vancouver Board of Trade, the Prime Minister did make the point that if negotiations with BC stall, the federal government will take its interest in energy projects elsewhere, a perhaps not so veiled threat to Eby to cooperate when it comes to this pipeline. Mi Jung.
Okay, we'll be watching to see what happens. Thank you, Rob. We now have a clearer idea of the bill taxpayers will face for hosting 13 World Cup matches. Canada's federal budget watchdog has released an estimated total cost to all three levels of government, and BC is footing a large chunk of the bill. With more, CTV's Ben Milger joins us live from Creekside Park. What's the number, Ben, and more importantly, does it reflect the true cost?
Well, it is an estimate, Mi Jung. It's $1,066 million. And it likely doesn't reflect the true final cost of hosting the tournament. But that's not the PBO's fault. That office can only work with the information they have from the other various levels of government. And in the case of British Columbia, that means they're working with a cost estimate that's a year old. As Vancouver prepares to welcome soccer fans for 7 FIFA World Cup matches, the final cost to taxpayers remains somewhat of a mystery. The parliamentary budget officer put out an estimate of $1,066 million. When the final price tag comes in, do you think it's going to be below, at, or above that amount?
Oh, no, it'll always come over. Yeah.
He's almost certainly right, because the PBO acknowledges the estimate relies on outdated numbers from the BC government.
The real number is going to come out in August and September when everything is done. That's just the way it goes. And so I'm not looking at that $1 billion number as if it's factual. I'm just looking at the $1 billion number compared to what the initial estimates were.
In 2022, the province said its share would be up to $260 million. Last year, it revised that up to potentially as much as $624 million.
The update that was provided by the PBO, once again, I would like to emphasize, does not include the revenues and recoveries, the estimated revenues and benefits that will British Columbians will see.
The current cost estimate works out to be about $82 million per match played in Canada.
Oh, I think that's great value for money. I think it's great to see the festival here and all the games and everything coming into town. It's great for the city, great for the growth and great for the game.
There has also been much debate over the economic benefit that will come from hosting the games. The province says as much as $1 billion in additional GDP over the next 5 years. At the very least, there's hope for game day windfalls to benefit some. Even if we don't reap good value for our money, maybe it's fun just to host a party.
Yeah, I think so, and I think it's also good for the small and local businesses too. Maybe they'll reap some benefits from it as well.
So we heard from Ann Kang, Minister of Tourism, Art, Culture and Sport in that story. She tells us the province's revised cost will be available next week, along with an update on the economic benefits of hosting the tournament. Now, whether or not people think the final price tag will be worth it, the first of 7 matches here at BC Place kicks off just over 3 weeks from now. Mi Jung?
Ben Milger reporting live tonight. As Vancouver prepares to host thousands of World Cup fans this summer, tourism operators over on the island say they're not counting on a boost. The province says it's expecting to host more than 350,000 fans to pass through the doors at BC Place, pitching the tournament as an opportunity to attract more tourists. With just 3 weeks to go until the first game at BC Place, both Destination Vancouver and Tourism Nanaimo say there's little evidence that spectators are expanding their trips to the island. But there is at least one winner to be found in Hello Ferries.
They are the most busy ticket sale days so far in June. We're anticipating sellouts.
Meanwhile, Destination Vancouver says hotel bookings are down 20% compared to last June. By not expanding hotel capacity, critics say Vancouver is just swapping one set of tourists for another. While an anticipated World Cup bump might not come to fruition, tourism operators say the focus should be on attracting visitors during quieter times of the year. Shots were fired at a home in Surrey's Newton neighborhood early this morning in what police believe is yet more extortion-related violence. As CTV's Yasmin Gandam reports, it comes as RCMP say they are making progress in holding the criminals involved to account.
I woke up to really large bangs. Bang, 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 bang.
Shots were fired at this home in a quiet Surrey neighborhood just after 4:30 Wednesday morning, a startling sound that woke up neighbors.
I thought it was coming from the house. It was very loud. And then I came out and saw some other neighbors are peering out as well, too.
Police confirm the shooting is related to ongoing extortion threats plaguing the city, but no one was injured despite people being home.
We look at history to the residents, to the business, and to any people that might be associated to either of those.
Despite the violence, police say extortion-related shootings are coming down, and the dedicated task force is making progress.
Since the beginning of 2026, Surrey has seen a decline in both reported extortion threats and extortion-related shootings.
There were 20 extortion-related threats reported in April. That's down from 44 in January. Chief Lipinski said 4 arrests have been made in extortion-related incidents, and a suspect has since been deported.
Earlier this year, SPS identified and arrested Prabjot Singh in connection with an extortion-related criminal activity. Through collaboration with the Canadian Border Services Agency, Mr. Singh has now been removed from Canada.
The SPS has also set up a website in the hopes of generating more information from the public. This as Surrey residents still remain on edge.
It's a close-knit community in this neighborhood. Quiet, lots of kids. Everyone's outside, everyone knows each other.
This marks the 17th extortion-related shooting in Surrey so far this year. Anyone with information is asked to contact police. Yasmin Gandham, CTV News, Surrey.
Pushback against how multiplexes are being built. Vancouver City Council is debating a motion to review how increased density is looking, but some are calling on council not to add more restrictions for builders. The story in just a moment, but first, let's take a look outside. Here's our view from Grouse Mountain, looking down on downtown Vancouver. It's 6:10, a few clouds in the sky, but overall today was another gorgeous day.
It was. We saw warm temperatures, the sun to start off the early morning hours. We are seeing cloud coverage now, but it won't last very long. Here's a look at temperatures across the lower mainland right now. 17 at the harbor. You'll get 20 degrees in Burnaby right now, 22 in Pitt Meadows, and 21 degrees in Chilliwack. As we head through the overnight, we will see a few clouds and 10 degrees into tomorrow. We'll see mostly sunny skies with temperatures between 19 degrees near the water, 24 degrees further inland. Warmer yet on Friday before a cool down comes in. I've got those details coming up.
Some people may want to take an extra long weekend, right?
Great idea. I have a sore throat coming in, I feel.
All right, thanks, Ann. Welcome. The city of Vancouver is considering changes to how multiplexes are built. It comes only 3 years after it introduced a policy meant to densify neighborhoods. As CTV's Isabella Zavarisi reports, some say it's an election issue, while those in the development industry want council to stay the course.
Billed as bold action, in 2023, Vancouver City Council approved a multiplex policy, allowing up to 6 strata lots on sites previously reserved for single-family homes. The goal was to create more family-friendly housing and improve affordability. But 3 years later, some say it isn't working.
They're having a real detrimental effect on neighbors and also on our tree canopy and livability.
Marissa Thomas is behind a growing petition asking the city to change course.
What we'd like to see is some design principles, so setbacks, basements, tapering of roofs, and appreciating privacy of neighbors, because right now these huge buildings really block any sunlight or privacy to the neighboring homes.
The city says since November 2023 to mid-April of this year, it's received more than 600 applications and approved 284 projects. A motion by ABC councillors Lenny Jo and Peter Meisner seeks to review the policy and assess whether change is warranted.
So key for me is ensuring that any changes or guidelines that we bring into place don't slow down the delivery of the housing. So trying to find that balance between regulation and also ensuring that we're just not letting builders do whatever they want.
Some municipalities have revised their approach. In October, following public backlash, Burnaby approved bylaw amendments to reduce the size and scale of multiplexes. One company that specializes in this kind of housing hopes council won't move ahead with a new multiplex plan.
We saw it again with laneway homes, where there was the same sort of response against pricing, shading, and privacy. All of these things came into play back then as well, too. And you no longer hear those kind of responses. So part of it is the natural cycle of seeing neighborhoods change.
Akua Schatz says restricting the policy could impact livability. But for those already living next to these developments, they feel it's already been compromised. Isabella Zavarisi, CTV News, Vancouver.
Serious allegations against a Richmond travel agency. Customers say they paid for trips but never got tickets. The company was already banned from selling travel, and now its business license has been revoked after failing to provide financial records. CTV's Dimitra Maragos has the story.
All those in favor? Any opposed? That is carried.
During a city council meeting at Richmond City Hall Tuesday night, city council voting to strip Vegas Vacations of its business license after allowing it to operate for the sole purpose of refunding existing clients.
Nothing really changes, but it's a good step forward, but kind of a small step.
In January, Consumer Protection BC pulled Vegas Vacations' license after the company failed to provide financial statements, flagging concerns on its website about the business. Leung says the total amount his parents paid the agency was $22,776.85.
We talked to them a lot about getting the money back, where's the money going to, and they keep delaying, and then we have to get we have to try other avenues to get our money back.
Leung says while a portion of the payment was made in cash, there were charges to their credit cards as well. While Leung says Vegas Vacations refunded them just over $4,000, it's been radio silence for months.
They've since stopped talking to us.
The BBB giving Vegas Vacations an F rating.
It's pretty bad. I mean, what that says is that you're not cooperative and you're not communicative.
Leung says they've tried other options, including disputing charges with their bank, but his parents are still out more than $10,000. CTV News reached out to Vegas Vacations, but they could not be reached for comment.
The first step, if these people haven't already, is to make sure that they put in a claim with the Travel Assurance Fund that's run through Consumer Protection BC.
Consumer Protection BC says the Travel Assurance Fund is a last resort, covering up to $5,000 per traveler, but claims must be filed within 6 months. Leung says he applied in early March, but is still waiting to hear back. Beasley says while there are other avenues, it can be challenging.
They might just be looking at recourse through the civil law system, which would mean, a lawsuit or a claim.
As for Leung, he says there's a silver lining from the city's decision to pull the license.
I think in the long run, it doesn't mean too much for us current victims. It's great that there will be future victims.
Demetra Marigo, CTV News, Richmond.
A suspected drunk driver has crashed into a Vancouver Island business, devastating the owners. How the community is rallying around them. Also ahead.
There's drug addiction for sure. There's criminality.
What's fueling growing crime at homeless encampments in Squamish? Community members take their concerns to City Hall when CTV News at 6 continues. Stay with us. Week of police activity at a Squamish encampment, including a targeted bear spray and shotgun incident. Frustration is boiling over. Tonight, the mayor and residents are grappling with what is driving the criminal activity and how to fix it. CTV's Kevin Chirac reports from Squamish.
This encampment has seen multiple police incidents in under a week, including Tuesday's targeted attack where bear spray was deployed and a shotgun was discharged. No one was seriously injured. Days earlier, police seized weapons and drugs as part of a drug trafficking investigation. 2 men were arrested and released pending charges.
People are having enough of it.
On Wednesday, the Squamish mayor hosted a community meeting where public safety was top of mind.
What do we live in here? Like, this is a dumping ground for criminals. I know that. I can see them every day. They're everywhere, all night and every day.
There's drug addiction for sure. There's criminality.
Squamish RCMP say they've increased neighborhood patrols following a spike in violent incidents and property crime over the past 18 months.
This is something that's new for Squamish.
Mayor Armand Herford says he's in constant contact with police about the issue, but believes most people living in the encampments are themselves victims, not the ones driving the criminal activity.
I am deeply concerned about the challenges of both of the general public, but the folks living in the encampment.
The encampment sits behind the district's only BC housing building, one of several encampments in town.
So we have 40 beds here and we have 16 shelter beds.
It's not enough.
Not enough. We're full every night.
She says the last homeless count was 125 and has been pleading with the province for more beds.
It's, pushing the rock uphill a little bit?
We've been advocating for this for years. So as soon as possible would be a few years ago in my mind.
The mayor says talks are underway with the province to bring in more supportive housing, but no timeline or location has been announced. CTV News has reached out to the Ministry of Housing for comment, but did not receive a response before deadline. Kevin Chirac, CTV News, Squamish.
Vancouver City Council has unanimously approved a motion aimed at expanding access to swimming lessons. The motion directs city staff to work towards providing free access to introductory swimming lessons for Vancouver residents, prioritizing children between 3 and 12. It's also calling for a long-term strategy to expand pool capacity and recruit more instructors. And officials say the motion is urging the Park Board to scrap COVID-era policies that have restricted access to pools across the city. The initiative is named after Joe Fortes, Vancouver's first official lifeguard. We have an update on the bear that attacked a man in Mission on his back porch. Also ahead.
It's not fair. It's not right.
There's been a surge in complaints about what's being called maple washing, when it looks like products are Canadian, but they're not. Now there could be a class action lawsuit. That's ahead. A federal agency is reporting an increase in complaints about something called maple washing. It's when retailers and producers try to make their products appear to be 100% Canadian made or locally grown in order to appeal to the growing Buy Canadian movement. CTV's Abigail Beeman has the story.
You tend to look for origin on what you buy?
Yes, I do. I try to get Canadian.
Trade tensions with the U.S. have many shoppers looking to buy Canadian where possible, and they tell us they don't appreciate attempts to maple wash.
People are trying to sort of vote with their dollars when it comes to what they want international policy to be.
It's not fair. It's not right. I want to know where it's coming from.
The Canadian Food Inspection Agency says complaints about maple washing are on the rise, 400 since the start of 2025 when the trade war heated up.
Classic situations of false representations or misleading advertising.
Joey Zukran is one of the lawyers behind a yet-to-be-certified class action lawsuit taking aim at a string of stores with examples like a maple leaf beside a can of soup that says product of USA and tomatoes advertised as a product of Canada that say product of Mexico.
The allegations in the lawsuit are clear that this was done to attract or touch on the sensitivity that many Canadians have shopping, especially in these times.
Not all products at Canadian grocery stores are even required to have their country of origin listed. There's no official logo for Made in Canada, and according to the CFIA's own website, a maple leaf on a product doesn't necessarily mean it's Canadian.
We need stronger penalties. We need greater enforcement.
In addition to consumer confusion, this entrepreneur lecturer says maple washing is unfair to Canadian suppliers who can lose business in the process.
Some kind of a certification mechanism would help.
Of the big retailers, only Sobeys and Loblaw responded to a CTV News request by deadline. Both acknowledged some isolated incidents they say they worked quickly to fix. Loblaw companies were slapped with 2 of the 7 fines the CFIA handed out. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
The bear that attacked a man on the porch of a home in Mission on Monday has been euthanized. The BC Conservation Officer Service says a sow was caught in the area and determined to be the offending bear based on descriptions and evidence gathered during the investigation. Officials say the bear had a history of problematic behavior in the area, including showing no fear of humans. 2 young bears were also caught before being tranquilized and relocated due to other reported encounters with humans. A Nanaimo business owner is reeling after an alleged impaired driver crashed an SUV through a popular sushi restaurant Monday night. Customers at Nana Sushi were shaken up after a black SUV became lodged in the front of the downtown eatery. The long-standing restaurant is now facing costly repairs and a major hit to business as it works to rebuild. Now the community is rallying around the shop with a GoFundMe launched to help get it back up and running.
they're loved in the community. Everyone around here loves them. It's always such a busy place. I think, like most small businesses, you know, if you're closed more than a few days, sometimes that really affects your numbers.
Several customers suffered minor injuries in the crash. Officers detained the driver, a man in his 40s, as they suspected he was impaired by drugs. He was later taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Police say the cause of the crash remains under investigation and no charges have been laid. The growing choice for people wanting a tattoo, images inspired from their favorite shows like K-pop Demon Hunters. Also, definitely not a clean getaway, a bizarre scene in California when a burglary suspect got caught inside a wall for hours. That's ahead.
Time now for tonight's Skywatch. The CTV drone rising high above Eastern Falls Creek with the Science World Dome slowly turning into a giant World Cup ball under mostly sunny skies.
CTV Skywatch is brought to you by Kermac Collision and Autoglass, the name you'll remember when it matters. Kermac cares for kids.
A bizarre scene in California after a burglary suspect got stuck inside a wall for 10 hours. Police say officers were getting coffee when they heard cries for help and someone knocking inside a wall in between the coffee shop and a movie theater. Fire crews were called in to help break into the wall and rescue the man. However, he wasn't free for long as he was later taken to jail on a burglary charge. Some BC fishermen had a little bit of competition while out on a lake near Vernon last week. This video of an eagle swooping down to pick up a fish they just tossed back has gone viral with nearly 5 million views online. The man who posted the video said, "It's moments like this that make you stop and appreciate how wild and powerful nature really is."
Wow,
incredible
that's amazing.
Creatures.
Yeah.
So they really do have eagle eyes, right?
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, so he's just going to hang out with those fishermen all the time. He doesn't have to do any work.
They're smart. They know where to just to hover around and then swoop in when the fish has been released.
Yeah, he knows that they have to release the fish. So good for him. I bet he's very full right now. All right, let's take a look at our forecast. Right now, we're seeing 17 degrees out across downtown Vancouver, a breeze from the west at 24 kilometers an hour. We are seeing some high cloud and filtered sunshine, and that's because of an upper level trough just south of the border, bringing in that high cloud coverage. Ridge of high pressure building offshore, and that's going to clear things out of the way for us on the south coast. Different story towards the north coast. We do have that system pushing its way in, continuing through the overnight into tomorrow morning. As you can see on our weather tracker, wet tonight into tomorrow morning. You will see periods of rain, especially for areas around Prince Rupert. Still dry for Metro Vancouver. It's not until tomorrow afternoon that it eases. Cloudy skies expected for the north coast, and we'll see increasing cloud coverage for the southern interior as well. So for us on the south coast, we'll see a few clouds at 9 o'clock tonight, clear skies at midnight, mostly sunny skies to start off your day tomorrow with 14 degrees by 8 o'clock, and then we'll see increasing clouds just around noon with a few breaks. Inland temperatures reach 24 degrees around 3 o'clock, where we'll see sunny skies and 20 degrees near the water. Sunshine continues around 6, and we'll see 17 degrees. So showers with a chance of afternoon thunder showers tomorrow for Prince George, or provincial forecast. At the bottom of your screen, a mix of sun and cloud for Port Hardy tomorrow with a high of 16 degrees. You'll see 23s for Campbell River and Comox. That's what you can expect for the South Island from Tofino right down to Victoria, with temperatures between 18 and 26 degrees. For the Sunshine Coast, you'll see a mix of sun and cloud with temperatures at 21. Warmer up the Sea to Sky Highway for Whistler and Squamish at 25 degrees. And for us across the Lower Mainland, we'll see mostly sunny skies with temperatures between 20 degrees near the water, 24 degrees further inland, warming up to 25 degrees inland under mostly sunny skies on Friday. Few clouds on Saturday with temperatures between 20 and 24. Enjoy it. Clouds return on Sunday, cooling down to 19. And then Sunday night into Monday, that's when we'll see some rain, a cool 15 degrees for Monday. Into Tuesday, scattered showers and 16 degrees. And then on Wednesday, clearing up once again, a mix of sun and cloud, warming up as well with a high of 19 degrees. So much needed rain once again as we start off next week.
But the rain is timed well for after the weekend.
Exactly. Sunday night into Monday.
But we're still well below the average for this month.
For sure, and very dry, yes.
All right, thanks, Anne. Tattoos come in all shapes and sizes, and in most cases are a permanent art form that are very personal. And pop culture tattoos are becoming increasingly popular. Netflix Canada asked tattoo artists across the country what they're working on, and it turns out that many of their clients' requests are inspired by shows streaming from the streaming service. CTV's Kevin Fleming has the story.
It's a 4-hour process for Cody Wilmot to get his favorite characters tattooed onto his arm. He says it hurts, but it's worth it. This is his first tattoo, and it means a lot to him because the two characters are from shows that he and his wife enjoy.
Snorlax is just a Pokemon that I've always enjoyed growing up. And Luffy's a character of an anime I'm sure everyone knows, One Piece. I've watched all of One Piece. I'm currently up to date on that one.
It was Alex Chen's job to take the idea and combine the two characters into a tattoo for Wilmot.
I love all of it, honestly. The artwork, the color, he did a phenomenal job on all of it. It reminds me of my childhood. It reminds me of my wife. It's a wonderful piece.
Chen was one of many artists across the country contacted by Netflix Canada to take part in a survey about how shows on streaming services are turned into tattoo art.
1 out of 10 of the Canadian Netflix subscribers, they actually have a Netflix related tattoo. So like the trend is definitely getting bigger and doing a bigger effect on like the tattoo industry.
And this is Chen's specialty. He's been working on pop culture tattoos for 8 years.
They don't just get the pop culture tattoo because of how they look cool or like how wonderful the design was. Not just that. They actually came in because of how the characters reminds them who they really were at a certain point of life.
Leah Anifuwushe sees many trends come and go, but says pop culture tattoos aren't going anywhere.
I don't know if it'll ever really die out. Maybe it'll like shift to like different characters or different like medias maybe, but I think like pop culture has always like really moved people, so that's going to be something we're going to see for like years to come.
Chen says some of his favorite characters to work with now are from K-pop Demon Hunters, because that's a show he and his 4-year-old daughter watch a lot. Kevin Fleming, CTV News, Calgary.
8 people have been charged in connection with fraud targeting the CRA and CERB benefits during the pandemic. How much money was taken? Also ahead.
When we pulled into the driveway, it looked like there had been a monster truck rally.
What happens when a delivery driver accidentally damages your property? The battle for compensation. That's ahead. Taking a look at today's markets, the Canadian dollar is up slightly, still trading for 72 USD. Oil down nearly $6, closing at $98 a barrel. Gold gained $24 on the day. Big day on the stock market. The TSX gained 420 points and the Dow Jones up 645 points. Shopping online and having packages delivered is part of our lives now. Amazon ships more than 1 million packages in Canada each day. Most items arrive at your door without any problems. But what if you have a delivery that goes off track? CTV's Pat Foran reports.
So the whole yard was torn up.
David Crory and Neil Thompson have a home in Stony Creek. This is what their lawn looks like now, but back in March, a delivery driver missed their driveway and ended up getting stuck in their front yard, leaving massive ruts behind.
When we pulled into the driveway, it looked like there had been a monster truck rally on our property. We had a Amazon delivery gone wrong.
Thompson says they were shocked by what they saw, especially since they put in a new driveway last year and had the entire area landscaped with fresh sod.
It starts at the beginning of the driveway and it goes for 100 feet, and it's anywhere from 8 to 12 feet wide.
The delivery driver didn't leave a note, but a neighbor who saw what was happening snapped a photo. Even though they ordered from Amazon, their package was dropped off by a different company.
One of my drivers did the damage. And he says, don't worry about it. We've called Amazon. They'll take care of it.
Amazon Canada told CTV News the driver is a delivery associate, not an Amazon employee or independent contractor. We've apologized to the customer, and the delivery partner is working directly with them to resolve the matter. Crory and Thompson say they've had to deal with an insurance company in New Jersey. They got 2 estimates to repair the damage. The lowest came in at $3,900. The insurance company countered with a repair offer of $1,200 and said that's the most it's willing to pay.
I think the goal is they just want the customers to sit back and accept what they're giving us. And it's just not right. Just not right. So we want Amazon to pay the full price.
Both sides remain at a stalemate, and now Crory and Thompson have contacted their home insurance company. They don't want to make a claim, but do want their property restored to the way it was before their delivery gone wrong. Pat Foran, CTV News.
8 people are facing charges in connection to an alleged cyber fraud targeting COVID-19 pandemic benefits. The RCMP says it launched an investigation in August 2020 into a cyber attack on the Canada Revenue Agency targeting the Canada Emergency Response Benefit. Police say a group of people stole personal identities, unlawfully accessed CRA accounts, and fraudulently claimed the CERB payment. The fraud totaled $364,000. Trigger, Ozzy, and Sirius are all looking for a fresh start and some new humans to love them. Maybe you can help? Homeward Bound is just ahead. Plus, wastewater management music? Adam finds out how an engineer was inspired to write a song about what happens after you flush a toilet into Fino. Next on the Sawatsky Sign Off. Right now, here's Carrie with a preview of Your Morning Vancouver.
Are whale sightings in the Lower Mainland becoming the new normal? Thursday on Your Morning Vancouver, why so many have surfaced in recent weeks, and what does this say about the health of our local waters? Plus, where does Canada's relationship with the U.S. stand? We'll get an update on how recent events are having an impact. And it's comedy for a good cause. We'll learn about Graham Clark's 24 hours of stand-up. We'll see you in the morning.
Breaking news, the game is just finished, and that goal would turn out to be all the Montreal Victoire would need tonight as they went on to beat the Ottawa Charge 4-0 in Game 4 of the Walter Cup Final and becoming the first ever Canadian team to be PWHL champions. Congratulations to the Victoire. A new gravity coaster opened on Grouse Mountain today, providing guests with some high-speed thrills and sweeping views of Vancouver. The ride meanders through the trees before opening to panoramic scenery with speeds reaching up to 45 kilometers an hour. Riders can control their own pace from leisurely to adrenaline-filled, while built-in safety systems keep carts spaced out. It is a big birthday for one of the biggest stars in pop music.
Do you believe in life after love?
Cher is celebrating her 80th birthday today. It has been decades of success for the goddess of pop, from her 60s hit I Got You Babe with Sonny Bono to global hits of her own in the 80s and 90s, including the Grammy-winning dance track Believe. And at this year's Grammys, she was honored with a Lifetime Achievement Award.
Wow.
Not bad for 80.
No,
I look like that when I'm 80.
Amazing.
I've been to one of her concerts years ago, and incredible. She's got so much energy.
So fun.
So much charisma. Okay, it's time for Homeward Bound, our weekly segment where we introduce you to furry friends from local rescues who are looking for their forever home.
Here are some pets now available to adopt from the BC SPCA.
Meet Trigger, a 1-year-old husky German Shepherd mix with a heart as big as his paws. I don't get to see his paws. Okay, this youngin already knows commands like sit, stay, and fetch.
Wow.
Plus, he's crate trained. Trigger grew up with other dogs and does great with kids. You can meet him today at the SPCA's Abbotsford branch.
Oh, is there anything he can't do?
Oh, very cute.
All right, well, what's black and white and cute all over? It's Ozzy, of course, a 10-month-old cat ready to soak up all your attention. He's affectionate, playful, and a bit of a people person. Ozzy has experience with cats, so may do well with a feline friend. He's ready to adopt at the Tri-Cities Coquitlam branch.
Nice coloring on the face.
I was going to say that little tuxedo. Oh, we have one more cat for you, 2-year-old Sirius. If you're willing to give this shy boy the time and love he needs to flourish, Sirius will grow into a devoted companion. He just needs a calm environment, a patient human, and a place to peacefully nap. Don't we all? Meet Sirius today at the Abbotsford branch. Oh, so sweet.
Very cute. Of course, Sirius from Harry Potter, right?
Of course.
Okay, we have an update on some pets we've introduced you to in the past. Harley, the 10-year-old husky mix, has been adopted.
Yay.
Do you remember him, Anne? After being highlighted on our April 8th show. So have Cowboy, the 1-year-old border collie mix, and Heidi, the 7-year-old cat, following our May the 6th feature.
Beautiful little
so
tortoise shell.
The power of TV and our Homeward Bound segment.
Amazing. And for more information, head to adopt.spca.bc.ca.
Okay, we'll get to the Sawatsky sign-off soon, but Lauren, what's coming up tonight at 11:30?
Well, Mijang, as we continue to have this beautiful sunny weather, lots of people are, of course, heading out to the beach or the pool, and safety is a top priority. As we heard a little earlier in the show, to keep Vancouverites safe on the water today, City Council unanimously voted to have free introductory swimming lessons for people who live in the city, prioritizing kids between the ages of 3 and 12. But there are still a lot of questions we're going to dive into tonight, including how it can actually become a reality and the price tag associated with it all.
You'll be diving into it. Very nice, Lauren.
Making sure it's deep enough.
Yeah.
Okay, finally, Adam finds out the story behind a North Vancouver engineer who found musical inspiration in an unlikely place, a wastewater treatment facility in Tofino, on tonight's Encore Sawatsky sign-off.
When Sarah Reese was young, she felt like she was living in a real-life Disney movie.
Actually, I wore a Cinderella dress throughout my entire kindergarten, like every day.
And she would constantly carry around a toy tape recorder and microphone to sing along to all the songs from The Little Mermaid.
But also, she had dreams of being something bigger.
So Sarah paused performing until after she realized her dream of becoming an engineer specializing in wastewater.
It's super essential to human health.
Sarah was so passionate about working on her first big project, she decided to write a song about it.
Like, I know that most people, they just flush and no one ever thinks about it, so I thought this is a good opportunity.
So Sarah summoned up the courage to play her wastewater song at a local open mic night hosted by Jeff Johnson.
She came in the first time and I'm like, oh, this is a little bit weird.
But the next time, Jeff really listened to Sarah's thoughtful lyrics, really noticed the enthusiastic response from the audience, and pitched the possibility of making a music video.
There was a version of the video that had like laser sounds, zapping bacteria, and they would explode, little poop emojis dancing around.
But in the end, Jeff and Sarah chose to produce a more professional product.
Wastewater management. Who's dealing with your
And the girl who grew up wearing fairy tale dresses and singing about Under the Sea donned personal protective equipment to showcase the complex process of keeping human waste out of the sea.
where the organics get eaten in a vat of bacteria.
After Sarah recorded the song in just a few takes, Jeff shot the video in about an hour.
Till we blast it with UV for disinfecting.
And while it's unlikely a song about number 2 will hit number 1 on the music charts, Sarah does hope, like those fairy tales with morals she loved, her and Jeff's work both entertains and educates.
For people to like have at least heard once how their wastewater gets treated, I think it's more than many have heard before.
How cool it can be.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, North Vancouver.
The Sawatsky Sign-Off, brought to you by 1-800-GOT-JUNK. They make junk disappear. All you have to do is point.
See, you can tell she's the kind of girl, like, or woman, when she gets into something.
She's 100%
She goes 110%. You could see that when she was a little girl, right?
Yeah. I will say, I think she's carved out a niche market there. I don't think there's many sewage songs to compete with.
I think she should make,
Sarah.
she should make a whole album, teach kids, going to schools. I think that'd be great.
A musical theater?
Exactly. Public bathroom we need music. To see that. Yeah. But good for her. She's teaching everybody. All right, let's take a look at our scenic snapshot tonight. A gorgeous view of the Garibaldi Mountain Range. Thanks, Wendy, for sending this spectacular photo in. And we want to see your scenic snapshot as well, so email us at scenicsnapshot@ctv.ca.
Yeah, beautiful. I wonder how long ago that was taken, if there's still that much snow up there.
It was just last week.
Okay. Spectacular. Okay, thank you so much for joining us. Have a good night.
Good night.